Lesson 2. Validity of Categorical Syllogisms. A categorical proposition is a proposition that relates two classes or categories. It is composed of a quantifier, a subject term, a copula, and a predicate term. Quantifiers, like all, no, and some, specify how much of the subject class is included in or excluded from the predicate class. Copula, like are and are not, link the subject term with the predicate term. Example 1. Identify the quantifier, subject, copula, and predicate in the categorical proposition. All cookery students are TVL students. Answer. The following is an illustration of the quantifier, subject, copula, and predicate of a categorical proposition. All cookery students are TVL students. All is the quantifier, cookery is the subject, R is the copula, TVL is the predicate. The quantity of a categorical proposition is either universal or particular. Universal, like all SRP and no SRP, assert something about every member of the S class. Particular, like some S are P and some S are not P, assert something about one or more members of the S class. Example 2. The following are the quantities of the given propositions. We have in the table are the categorical propositions, their quantifiers, and quantity. All cookery students are trivial students. Its quantifier is all, and its quantity is universal. No trivial students are academic students. So its quantifier is no, while its quantity is universal. Some SHS students are trivial students. Its quantifier is some, eh, while its quantity is particular. Some trivial students are not academic students. Its quantifier is some, while its quantity is particular. Quality of a categorical proposition is either affirmative or negative. Affirmative quality, like all SRP and some SRP, affirms class membership. Negative quality, like no SRP and some S are not P, denies class membership. Example 3. The following are the qualities of the given proposition. In the table, there are categorical propositions, quantifiers or qualifiers, and the quality. All cookery students are trivial students. Its quantifiers or qualifiers are all are, while its quality is affirmative. No trivial students are academic students. Its quantifiers or qualifiers are no and are, while its quality is negative. Some senior high school students are trivial students. Its quantifiers or qualifiers are some and are, while its quality is affirmative. Some trivial students are not academic students. Its quantifiers or qualifiers are some and not, while its quality is negative. Four basic types of categorical propositions. The four kinds of categorical propositions have commonly been designated by letter names corresponding to the first four vowels of the Roman alphabet: A, E, I, and O. It may be presented as follows. Okay. In the table, so we have the quantity or quality, it's affirmative and negative. So for the Universal, it's affirmative, all S are P. That's what you call A. And for the negative, which is E, no S are P. For particular, the affirmative is I, some S are P, and for the negative, which is O, some S are not P. A standard form categorical proposition occurs in one of the following forms. All S are P, no S are P, some S are P, some S are not P. Example, express the following into standard categorical propositions. Number one, every TVL student is a senior high school student. So the answer is all TVL students are senior high school students. Second, most Quizonians are God-fearing. Answer, some Quizonians are God-fearing people. Third, the teacher needs an internet connection. The answer is all teachers are the person who needs internet connection. Number four, non-trivial students are academic students. The answer is no trivial students are academic students. Number five, all great leaders are not arrogant. The answer is no great leaders are arrogant people. But remember, subject and predicate terms need to be expressed as classes of things, nouns or noun phrases. A syllogism is a deductive argument in which a conclusion is inferred from two premises. A categorical syllogism is an argument consisting of exactly three categorical propositions, two premises, and a conclusion, in which there appears a total of exactly three categorical terms, each of which is used exactly twice. Terms of the categorical syllogism. Number one, major term is the predicate of conclusion. Minor term is the subject term of the conclusion. Three, middle term is the term that appears in both premises but not in the conclusion. Parts of the categorical syllogism. Number one, major premise contains the major term. Minor premise contains the minor term. Parts of the categorical syllogism. Number one, major premise contains the major term. Number two, minor premise contains the minor term. A standard form categorical syllogism fulfills all of the following criteria. Number one, all the statements are standard form categorical propositions. Number two, the two occurrences of each term are identical. Number three, each term is used in the same sense throughout the argument. Number four, the major premise is listed first, the minor premise second, and the conclusion last. All M are P, and some S are M. Therefore, some S are P. Or major premise and minor premise, therefore, it is the conclusion. Example 5. Express the categorical syllogism below in the standard form. All cookery students are HE students and all HE students are TVL students. So all cookery students are TVL students. Here's the solution. Step 1. Identify the conclusion, then label the subject with S and the predicate with P. Because of the word so, the conclusion is the last statement. All cookery students are TVL students. So cookery is the minor term, and the major term is the TVL, or what we call the predicate, while the cookery is the subject. Step 2, identify the major and the minor premise. The major premise contains the major term, while the minor premise contains the minor term. All cookery students are HE students. So this is the minor premise. All HE students are TVL students. So this is the major premise. Therefore, all cookery students are TVL students. And step 3, arrange the premises in the correct order. Major premise first, followed by minor premise, and then conclusion. All HE students are TVL students, which is the major premise. All cookery students are HE students, which is the minor premise. Therefore, all cookery students are TVL students, which is the conclusion. So, for the final answer, all HE students are TVL students and all cookery students are HE students. Therefore, all cookery students are TVL students. Four basic types of categorical propositions. For the proposition all SRP, the letter name is A, the quantity is universal, while the quality is affirmative. For the proposition no SRP, the letter name is E, the quantity is universal, the quality is negative. For the proposition some SRP, the letter name is I, the quantity is particular, the quality is affirmative. And the proposition some S are not P, the letter name is O, the quantity is particular, the quality is negative. Determining the validity of categorical syllogisms using the set of rules. Rule 1. There should be 3 terms in the syllogism, each of which used in the same sense. Fallacy. Fallacy of 4 terms. Example, God is love is blind, therefore God is blind. Rule 2, the middle term must be distributed in at least one premise. At least one of the middle terms must be universal. The fallacy, undistributed middle. Example, all teachers are human beings. All gentlemen are human beings, therefore all teachers are gentlemen. For rule 3, if a term is distributed in the conclusion, then it must be distributed in a premise. The major and the minor terms should only be universal in the conclusion if they are universal in the premises. So the fallacy, illicit major and illicit minor. Example, all teachers are human beings. Some gentlemen are not teachers, therefore some gentlemen are not human beings. For rule 4, no conclusion drawn from two negative premises. Likewise, if the premises are affirmative, then the conclusion must be affirmative. So for the fallacy, exclusive premises, example, no teachers are gentlemen. Some human are not teachers. Therefore, some gentlemen are not humans. And for rule 5, if one premise is affirmative and the other is negative, then the conclusion must be negative. So for the fallacy, drawing an affirmative conclusion from a negative premise or drawing a negative conclusion from an affirmative premise. Example, some students are kind, some students are not brave. Therefore, some kind students are brave. For rule 6, if both premises are universal, the conclusion cannot be particular. Also, there is no conclusion that can be from two particular premises. One premise at least must be universal, and if one premise is particular, then the conclusion must be particular. For the fallacy, existential fallacy, example, no teachers are gentlemen. All human beings are gentlemen. Therefore, some human beings are not teachers. Thank you.